This will be the best example you will find on this topic, so make sure to watch it till the end. So hi guys, this is Ratan and this video is sponsored by No. So hi again. Why do we need key prop in the list? So let's get into coding directly and find out. And after that, I'll tell you a few important points worth noting for an interview. So let's get into coding.
So in my app.js file, I just have one h1 that says why do we need key prop in list. So let's declare a variable data and let's have an array of objects inside it. Just to loop through it and show it in the UI. So let's copy this and paste it like 4 times. Let's have this as name 2, let's name this as name 3 and name 4. And let's create a state, name data, set name data, use state of, let's set this data as the initial value. Okay. Now that we set our data as the initial value, let's loop this name data, and let's say item and return it inside p tag. Okay, and this is item dot name. Okay, now that it's shown in the UI, okay, so we are getting a warning saying that each child in a list should have a unique key prop. This is it guys, this is the answer of the question. Why do we need key prop? Because of this warning. No, just kidding. Okay, so let's assign a key and check. Okay, before that let's have a button. Okay, let's have a button adjacent to all these list items so that when I delete, click on delete, this list item, the corresponding list item gets deleted. So let's have a button tag. Okay, and let's enclose it inside a parent. Okay, let's say it has delete. Okay, instead of p, let's have a span tag. Span, and let's give a break over here. Okay, this looks nice. Okay, so let's write the logic of on click of delete. So let's map this name data. Let's filter it out actually, and let's call it item again. Okay, and when I click on this delete, okay, so this will be deleted and we need only these 3 value, right? So when this name, okay, when the current name, okay, is not equal to this name, it will return, right? So return when the current name is not equal to this name, right? And let's assign it to new name data, right? And let's set this to name data. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so it's working fine. And let's give this an index. Let's give this a key. We cannot give key directly to this. Instead we must have some tag like div tag or any other tag, but I don't want any enclosed tag. Okay, so for that reason I would just use React fragment only. Okay, and let's import it from React. So this is shorthand for this, like this is shorthand for this one, right? So for this, let's assign a key now. Okay, and let's assign the index value as key. Index. Okay, and when I refresh, okay, now that the warning is gone, let me show you why we need a key and why we don't need index as a key. Okay, so let's go into this elements tab, and once I refresh, just a second, let's take this out. We don't need div again. So when I refresh, okay, so when I delete it, you can see that there's a purple highlight on these, right? So that means it's getting re-rendered, and we do not want that actually. Okay, so the main reason of this re-rendering is that when I click on delete, okay, so this is currently the index 0, this is 1, 2 and 3, right? So when I delete it, the second item would have the index 0, right? So it comes up, and like every item comes one step up, and you know, so this would be assigned the key of 0 because it comes to 0th index, and this comes to first, and this comes to second index. So we know that this data is old data only, but React doesn't know that, right? React thinks that okay, now that the new key is generated, it must be new data, so it's rendering again. So we do not want that because it would create a performance issue. So instead we have to assign something unique to the key. Okay, so in this case the key is the name itself. So we have 4 different names, right? Name 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, let's check this out. So when I click on delete, there is no purple highlight on this, right? So it's not getting re-rendered again. So this actually works perfect, right? So let me remove the key. Okay, and let's check this. So first of all, we will get back this warning, and if we click on delete, okay, we are getting the purple highlight again. Okay, so that means it's re-rendering again, which means if you do not provide any key, React automatically assigns this index to the key. Okay, so it would anyways give us the performance issues, and we do not want that. So in the real world project, usually the key would be an ID that is sent from the database. So whenever we make an API call, uh, from the response we get, we would have an ID for each of the list item. Okay, so that is what we assign as key. So let's say this is the data that's coming from API. So let's assign separate ID, like something like this. So ID usually would be a weird looking ID only whenever you receive it from backend. So let's have this. Okay, so let's assign this to key item dot id. Okay, so this is the best way to assign any value to id. So the key that we are assigning must be unique for each list item. Okay, so actually the key tells React which item it corresponds to. So it tells React that okay, this is the ID and this is the item it corresponds to. So like this ID would be given to the first array element. So it tells React, and whenever whenever the position of the array changes, like whenever the array gets reordered, like whenever we delete, like just we did now, or insert or like sort, so React usually identifies key of that item and it makes correct update to the DOM tree. Okay, so in this case, let's say if we have same ID, for two array items. So usually the comparison won't be between name, because two names can be same. Let's say this was first name, and many people can have first name as John or Ratan, right? So let's compare it with ID only, because that's the right way of comparison. Okay, but when two IDs are same, you'll notice when you click on delete for name 1, the name 2 gets deleted, right? So you would come across an unusual bug like this. So you do not want that in your program. Okay, so you just have to use an ID that's coming from the database, or you have to use or you can use an ID from a package called UUID. Okay, never use math.random, because it might generate same number twice, and again we would uh, get that problem, like if we have same ID, then right, so we would come across the problem that we just saw. So never use math.random. Okay, so whatever the key you choose, make sure it's unique, and it must not change at all, like the way how when we were assigning, the key for the data was changing. Okay, so it must be a unique identifier, because if it changes, it just defeats the purpose of being a unique identifier, right? So just make sure of that. So yeah, this is it. So if you want to know anything else, or if you have any questions regarding this, just comment it out, and I'll try and help you out. So thank you guys.